at the end of the day, if you make this mistake, you had to really try to make the mistake, in my opinion. I don't think that you either listened so little to what the team and the, you know, counselors, whatever you want to call them, is telling them, or you blatantly disagreed with the rule.
Or you blatantly
You should
break the rule.
Right. You should get 6 games for breaking the rule and 18 for being stupid. And that's to me, or being a criminal. I mean, you talk about the shoeless Joe Jackson. Those guys knew. I mean, the movies 8 Men Out, and all the great stories about that Black Sox team. They knew there was a moral dilemma involved. They were doing it for reasons that had more to do with they didn't make the kind of money that professional athletes make these days. They were trying to stick it to ownership, all those things. That is not what's happening in today's NFL. It's guys doing it because they're being completely reckless.
Well,
And
and here's part of all this, and this is sort of where I land on this. You're right, and she's right in that the players are now used to this. But again, it's only been a few years. It's not as if they've grown up with this from the time they were 3 years old. Mentally 3 years old, perhaps, but certainly not chronologically in their physical sense. But the whole idea that, oh, their friends are doing it, so that's why they're doing it. Or the fact that, oh, wait a minute, but it's not that big a deal to them and they're sort of used to it. This namby-pamby, hands-off, whiner, weasel, wankerish shit that's going on here is nonsense. Be honest here, Kalen. Do your job. The fact of it here is that these players don't care. They're either ignorant or stupid. One of the two of them, you got to put it in there because it's right there for them to know. So if they don't know it, that's their fault. The league can't be held responsible for it if you just nod off in the middle of a meeting somewhere because that's your responsibility. That's why you're getting paid a spitload of money, is to be able to do this and understand the rules of the game. And listening to the excuses are just laughingly, hysterically foolish to listen to the point where, Doug, I'll tell you, I'm at it. I hate to say this. No, I don't. I really like to say this. I'm a hardline guy because I've been doing this a long time.
I
You
know you
bet.
are.
You bet. See, there you go. I like that. Bust those balls. Go for it. The You break the rules, especially in gambling, you're out. That's it. You're out. What do you mean? You're out of the NFL. You mean forever? Yes. Goodbye. Have a nice day. Thanks for shopping. And I'll tell you what, there's a convenience store right down the street that's got an opening. You can go ahead and start filling out the application now. I mean, you've got a clean house of these people because if you really, here's another thing, Doug, if you really think that these guys, these knuckleheads like Rogers, are going to come back and are never going to gamble again, then you're the stupid one this time. But we all know the reality of this is that the players union will get involved and they will protect their players. But I think there's got to be a much harsher punishment than just half a season off or a season out. You got to bust these guys and blow them out.
Yeah, I mean, I think going back to what we were talking about earlier, they have to fear for their lives, or else they will not necessarily. I mean, look, these guys don't have as much of a sense of reality. For you and I, if we missed 6 game checks, we would be in a fetal position for 6 weeks. We couldn't even fathom the risk involved of losing that kind of money just so you can have a little action on a game. It's stupid. We get that because we've worked our whole lives. These guys might not, but hey, sorry, you need to understand that right away. And they need to see an example of it if they're ever going to be truly cured of this. But I don't know if you have another 5 or 6 hours of my poor internet connection, but we could talk about all across
We
this
can break them into
entire
segments, buddy.
entire society. This is the mindset. Nothing is ever anyone's fault. Nothing is. You can be told 100 times, but you know what? They didn't tell me the 101st, so therefore I need some grace. I think this is a much bigger problem, systemic, societal, whatever you want to call it, than it is just in the NFL. NFL has as many knuckleheads as every other day walk of life. And it's too simple to say, oh, that's the millennials now, which really makes me sound old. It's not that. It's that this is accepted in every single walk of life, that you don't have accountability. Everybody needs time off. If anything is hard, it's not hard, it's mental health. It's you can get me going for hours and hours and hours about how soft and how irresponsible and how unaccountable everyone is these days, which these days is a very dangerous term to say, but it's true. And it trickles right into professional sports, especially when you turn around and you're giving a 21-year-old kid multiple millions of dollars. And that kid has never been told no his whole life. So he needs to be told once, and that would scare him. That would scare
and we have seen this. We have seen this. You and I and this generation have seen this dating back to the 80s, where high school players began the coddling and began being allowed to get away with academics and being allowed to skate and going to special schools and getting special treatment. But it has happened to the point where those are the parents, those are the fathers and the mothers specifically
Exactly.
who were given the break. So now they're going to teach their kids to get the break, which is what they're doing. And you're right. I would like one time, Doug, to hear an Isaiah Rodgers or any of these players that you got busted for gambling, and here's the evidence. Get in front of a camera, do it on your social media page, do it on Twitter, Instagram, whatever you want, Facebook for the old farts, and look into the camera and say, I was wrong. I screwed up. Yeah, I did that. I bet on the Colts and I was in the Colts facility. I placed a bet while I was at my workplace. The team told me not to do it. I screwed up, and I promise I'm not going to do it again. Now, we may walk into the Ja Morant type of player at this point who will say over and over and over again that I'm sorry, but at least let's get that. Teach them the responsibility to say, I screwed up and I'm going to try again. I have a tremendous amount of respect if you do that. And I'm going to say, okay, guess what? You're going to get 6 games. You're out. But we're going to let you come back in. The fact you sit there and stonewall me, don't want you in my league. Don't want you on my team.